Next, let's queer up politics. Can you be gay and MAGA? Perhaps no. Gay supporters of Trump and MAGA movement feel that gay rights movement is becoming increasingly leftist and leaving them behind, seemingly ignoring the history of the civil rights movement and the liberal roots. In an interview with New York Post, Hell's Kitchen resident Mark Dorman, he explained how he was blacklisted from his favorite gay bar, the Atlas Social Club, after being outspoken in his support for former President Trump. 64-year-old Dorman said it feels like the Soviet Union Marxist environment now. With the gay community, they feel that Republicans are on the far right, have an anti-gay thing. He says yes, and they have a certain religious belief. They have the right to say they don't like that lifestyle, and an embarrassment to it to see this kind of behavior. I'd really invite them to go to Iran or Gaza and see what that does for you. See how fast they throw you in prison or kill you. He also discussed how his husband nearly divorced him and kicked him out of the house when Trump won the 2016 election. MAGA gays also point to the embracing causes of supporting other minorities, especially the growing use of the Progress Pride flag. Gay culture critic Andrew Sullivan said of the Progress Pride flag, "It's an aesthetic and design monstrosity that no gay man should approve of. It's a disgrace to our sexual orientation." The question seems to be if the LGBTQ plus community can accept MAGA queer community. You know, this year is so difficult for everybody, and I feel sometimes if you do see a gay Republican out there, talk to them. Maybe say, hey, why do you feel this way? And hear them out, because maybe hopefully they'll hear you out and realize that, they've learned something and they can switch their vote. Because, we're being hit on all sides of our community. We need to band together and we need to do the right thing. Like someone said, I saw on Facebook, Alfred may be getting old. Would you rather have Joker run the Batcave?
Right. Right. Exactly. Hey, Mark Dormat. If you think it feels like the Soviet Union now, you better hope that the day the dreaded Project 2025 goes into effect never comes. And what the fuck is Andrew Sullivan doing, still breathing and spewing? No more dick for either of you self-loathing queens.
Oh my God.
I love you being on the show.
That's why I'm here.
I noticed that this article was done by the New York Post. Mm-hmm. And, it's a pretty far, getting to the point of being a pretty far-right newspaper. And, when I see an article like this, my first question is, how many other people other than these two whiny guys are there that think this way? Right. But also, he was claiming that, the queer movement is so left. It's I know, actual, pretty much communist types, and, we're more lefty than, moms of liberty, but we're not that far lefty. But, I found it also interesting to, ignore where our roots are. Martin Duberman did a book, Has the Gay Movement Failed? Mm. He didn't really answer that question, but he did all the history. And I didn't know, the 60s and 70s, the queer movement, it was a really lefty, hippie, the Gay Liberation Front was hanging out with the Black Panthers. Our history is not, that conservative. Maybe these guys should, lighten up a little bit and not take themselves so seriously.
But if they knew the history, then they wouldn't be whining about this.
I know.
Maybe they just watch Fox News. I have a really good friend in town.
CNN?
That was a huge Biden fan and a big Democratic supporter and stuff. And she's dating another lady who is an ultra MAGA supporter. And we had coffee together and she said to me, there's no good choices, but, he's old and he scares me, and went on. And I was so taken back that I didn't even have a good, comeback defense to say, well, consider this, this, and this. I did the best I could, but I was are you watching Fox News and MSNBC, or are you just watching Fox News? Because it does sound believable if you watch it long enough that a lot of the things they say make sense because they justify it. But it just scared me, and I didn't know what to do with her because, how easily people can be influenced is, I guess, my point. Is people are so easily influenced by the people around them, and it's so easy to change someone's mind. And I really believe people like to follow, not lead. So if they have a choice between making a statement, making a difference, and leading, they will rather hide behind somebody else than forge their own way forward, and, it's just easier.
Well, it was like you were saying, Will, that, if you see somebody who talks like that.
Absolutely.
I think sometimes we're so gobsmacked when we hear what is pouring out of their mouths that I would like cut and run. I couldn't even sit there. But if you really think that it's possible to change hearts and minds, do Republicans have hearts and minds? Wait, maybe not.
They bleed if you cut.
Okay, Dorothy.
I mean, if you think it's possible, then
I mean, dialogue is always the way to sort of solve world problems. I mean, if you don't know who you're up against, you don't know what motivates them to be who they are. So I agree with you, Will. Like you're having conversations, but I think this is so innately a call to action or sets off a fire in all of us so quickly that we don't have time to reason because we're so attuned to like you have to be wrong, and I don't think we listen as well as neither side listens as well, and we end up where we are.
Well, you said it perfectly. Neither side listens,
perfect?
right? I think so. All right, but neither side does listen, and I feel like they have people have the ideology of being Republican, and they're straight ticket voters, but they're not really looking at the person; they're looking at the ideology behind that, and so therefore, and then when it comes against a personal attack or it becomes against an LGBTQ community, then it's like, wait a minute. Then we all speak up. But you said it earlier. We just need to vote for democracy this time. It doesn't matter who's on the ticket. Just vote for democracy. Right?
Those people need to register to vote, vote, and it's important because if you don't, you can say, well, I'm going to vote for this person. You don't go out and vote. It's as good as throwing a vote away.
Right.
One of the recent elections, it was like 2 weeks ago, I think the winner won, or the person lost by 300 votes, 313 votes or something.
Right.
That is nothing.
Right.
If we can easily find 300 of our friends who go, yeah, I just didn't bother because it wasn't going to make a difference. All those add up.
When I was helping a friend of mine, his name was Alex Morse, which is very similar to mine. His mother got so confused when I told her my name. He was running for mayor. He was like 21 of Holyoke, Massachusetts. He won his primary. It was like a runoff by one vote. So they literally put T-shirts. I was the one vote, and then he won the next he won the actual general election a few months later. 21 openly gay, youngest openly gay
they didn't ask
mayor
for
in
like
America.
A recount or anything. They were
because the runoff it was.
Okay.
Yeah, because it wouldn't have affected who the
voted. They just called them and said, "Hey, who'd you vote for?"
But no, that one vote can really make a difference.
You must have felt terrible.
I wasn't. I wasn't a voter in Holyoke.
Oh my gosh.